Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look on what is happening in India and in the world. Heavy rain in southern Japan triggered flooding and mudslides on Saturday, leaving more than a dozen missing and others stranded on rooftops waiting to be rescued. More than 75,000 residents in the southern prefectures of Kumamoto and Kagoshima were asked to evacuate following pounding rains overnight. NHK television footage showed large areas of Hyotoshi town in Kumamoto included in muddy waters that gushed out from the Kuma river. Many cars were submerged up to their windows. Mudslides smashed into houses and floodwaters carried trunks from uprooted trees. Several people were standing atop a convenience store as they waited for rescuers. NHK said about 13 people were reported missing. Kumamoto officials say they were still assessing the extent of the damage. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe set up a task force, vowing to do at most to rescue the missing. The Japan Meteorological Department earlier issued warnings of extraordinary rain in parts of Kumamoto, about 1,000 kilometers southwest of Tokyo, but later downgraded them as the rainfall estimated at 100 millimeters. Kumamoto government EQ Kabashima said he requested help from the Japan Self-Defense Forces. Rains continued to lash Mumbai and its adjoining areas for the second consecutive day on Saturday. However, the intensity of rainfall witnessed so far on Saturday was moderate as compared to Friday, officials said. According to the India Meteorological Department, the Colaba Weather Bureau reported 39.4 millimeters rainfall between 8:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, while the Santa Cruz Weather Station recorded 52 millimeters rainfall during the same span. The rainfall till now has been moderate as compared to what was witnessed on Friday. Waterlogging was reported in low-lying areas like Sion and Milan subway, but there has been no complaint of major waterlogging so far. An official of the Disaster Management Cell of the BMC said there have been 19 complaints of tree or branches falling, but nobody was injured in the incidents, he said. Late on Friday, the IMD had issued a red alert for Mumbai, Raigad and Ratnagiri for Saturday, as it predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall at many places in Palghar, Mumbai, Thane and Raigad districts. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Saturday said patriotic Ladakhis are raising their voice against Chinese intrusion and asked the government to listen to them, asserting that ignoring their warning will cost India dearly. Gandhi also shared a media report which showed some Ladakhis alleging that the Chinese have been occupying Indian territory in Ladakh. Patriotic Ladakhis are raising their voice against Chinese intrusion. They are screaming a warning. Ignoring their warning will cost India dearly, the former Congress president tweeted. For India's sake, please listen to them, he said. Gandhi has been attacking the government over the Sino-India standoff in eastern Ladakh. Air France and regional subsidiary Hop announced 7,500 job cuts on Friday after the virus pandemic grounded most flights and darkened prospectus for future air travel. Activists from multiple unions protested at Air France headquarters at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport as talks began Friday morning about future job prospectus at France's flagship airline. They are particularly angry that the French government did not require Air France to protect jobs when it won 7 billion euros in state bailout funds in May. Workers warned that the job cuts will ripple across the French economy and said bailout funds should be used to rebuild the company instead of pushing people into unemployment. After a day of talks with personnel representatives, company management announced Friday that it will cut about 6,500 of 41,000 jobs at Air France and 1,000 of the 2,400 jobs at HOP by 2022. The company said most of the losses will come through not replacing retiring and departing workers, and that it would encourage voluntary departures and early retirements before imposing layoffs. Airlines around the world are forecast to lose 84 billion this year, with revenue halved. Some have filed for bankruptcy or sought bailouts to survive the near shutdown in their activity, and officials predict the industry will take years to recover. As many as 3 Indian companies have shown interest in manufacturing racks of the monorail projects, weeks after Town Planning Authority MMRDA scrapped the bids by 2 Chinese firms. Last month, the Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority MMRDA scrapped the 500 crore contract for sourcing 10 racks for the Jacob Circle Wadala Chembur monorail project, wherein 2 Chinese firms had expressed their interest to supply the racks, stating that companies were dictating terms. 3 Indian companies have shown interest in designing and developing monorail rolling stock, the authority tweeted. MMRDA Commissioner R.A. Rajiv had earlier said that the authority was in talks with Indian companies including Bharat Heavy Electricals and Bharat Earth Movers, among others, for the contract. BEML has already backed the contract for manufacturing metro racks for Metro 2A Dahisar DN Nagar and Metro 7 Dahisar E Andheri, after giving first order for Make in India metro coaches for line 2 and 7. Hopefully will get developed monorail coaches in India, the authority said in the tweet. Last year, MMRDA had floated a global tender to design, manufacture and supply 10 racks and had received bids from China's CRR Corporation, Build Your Dreams, as well as an American firm. However, the authority later cancelled the tender in January this year when bidders were seeking changes in the terms. In February, the authority re-invited the bids and the size of the contract was around rupees 500 crore. Even as the World Health Organization lauded the Indian government for its efforts in tackling COVID-19, the World Nodal Health Agency said that India should also focus on data management originating from the pandemic. In an exclusive interview with ANI, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, Chief Scientist at WHO, said, "I would like to say that there should be a focus on data. By that I mean that we need to have a systematic approach to looking at the data." She said that the moment people start focusing on the total number of cases and the total number of deaths, it gives only part of the story. There needs to be some kind of national guidelines on how you report data. Otherwise, you cannot compare. Everybody is reporting things in different ways. She said, citing an example, that WHO has recommended certain criteria that the government can use to assess where the epidemic is. If we do not test, we are not going to find the case. Reporting of the case alone is not sufficient. We need to know how many tests have been done. Most importantly, we need to know the test positivity rate. It should be under 5%. Then we need to keep track on the doubling time, Dr. Swaminathan stated. So instead of focusing only on numbers, all we need to know things like how the epidemiology is going. It is going up or down, or it is on a plateau. That is what we need to know, said the WHO chief scientist. A terrorist hideout was busted in a remote village in Rajouri district of Jammu Kashmir on Saturday, leading to the recovery of a huge case of arms and ammunition, officials said. The hideout was unearthed during the course of a joint search operation by police and the Rashtriya Rifles in Gardasan village of the Thana Mandi area. They said the recoveries made from the hideout included 2 Chinese pistols with 2 magazines, an under-barrel grenade launcher with 11 rifle grenades, 14 magazines of AK assault rifle with 920 rounds, and a Chinese hand grenade. A large quantity of material used in the making of improvised explosive devices, including batteries and wires, was also seized from the hideout, the officials said. However, no one was arrested in connection with the recovery so far. More than 25 teams have been formed by the UP police to arrest notorious criminal Vikas Dubey, who was yet to be apprehended 36 hours after 8 police personnel were gunned down by criminals during an attempt to arrest him. Inspector General of Police Kanpur Mohit Agrawal on Saturday told. Police officials also said the surveillance team was scanning over 500 mobile phones and efforts were on to retrieve information pertaining to Dubey, who has faced about 60 criminal cases. The Special Task Force of UP Police has also been roped in. Mr. Agrawal said a cash reward for Rs 50,000 has been announced for providing information about Dubey, and the identity of the information provider will be kept secret. He also said 7 policemen who were injured in the encounter have been admitted to a private hospital where their condition is stable. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath rushed to Kanpur on Friday to meet the family members of the policemen killed in the raid and announced financial assistance of rupees 1 crore each to the bereaved families. Police had late on Friday night raided Dubey's house in Krishnanagar area of Lucknow. Kanpur district administration today used bulldozers to demolish a house belonging to Vikas Dubey, the main accused in the cold-blooded murder of 8 UP cops on Friday, and a notorious criminal mastermind charged in 60 criminal cases. The demolition was done in the presence of Uttar Pradesh police officers. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
Vesavi Avtundi fan with the cooler number 1. Eka chase ko more fun unte cooler number 1. Eka don't run from the sun unte Kinsta number 1.
दीवाना 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 इतना सुंदर जैसे कोई सपना सुहाना दीवाना दीवाना
कचारिया टाइल्स जूते
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. Facing a probe by the Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering case, senior Congress leader Ahmed Patel has claimed that the investigation agency has failed to answer his question on who in the Gujarat government has bestowed benefits, privileges and honors to the Sandesra group, for which he is being quizzed. Mr. Patel said he has answered 128 questions posed to him by the ED. I answered each of their 128 questions, but they failed to answer my one fundamental question. Who is in the Gujarat state government was responsible for bestowing multiple benefits, privileges and honors on the Sandesra group, Ahmed Patel wrote on Twitter. Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra came out in Ahmed Patel's support and alleged that sending the ED to harass the senior party leader in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic shows the perversion of this government's priorities. The ED investigators questioned Ahmed Patel at his residence for about 10 hours on Thursday. During the third round of his grilling in connection with the bank probe into the Sandesra brothers bank fraud and money laundering case. This is political vendetta and harassment against me and my family, and I don't know under whose pressure they are working, Ahmed Patel had claimed after his questioning. The Mars color camera on board Indian Space Research Organization's Mars Orbiter mission has captured the images of Phobos, the closest and the biggest moon of Mars. The image was taken on July 1 and when Mars Orbiter mission was about 7,200 kilometers from Mars and 4,200 kilometers from Phobos. Phobos is largely believed to be made up of carbonaceous chronates. According to ISRO, the violent phase that Phobos has encountered is seen in the large section gouged out from the past collision and bouncing ejecta. Stickney, the largest crater on Phobos, along with the other craters, are also seen in this image. The mission, also known as Mangalyaan, was initially meant to last 6 months, but subsequently ISRO had said it had enough fuel for it to last many years. The country had on September 24, 2014 successfully placed the Mars Orbiter mission spacecraft in orbit around the red planet in its very first attempt, thus breaking into an elite club. ISRO had launched the spacecraft on its 9-month-long odyssey on a homegrown PSLV rocket from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh on November 5, 2013. It had escaped the Earth's gravitational field on December 1, 2013. The rupees 450 crore mission aims at studying the Martian surface and mineral composition, as well as scan its atmosphere for methane, an indicator of life on Mars. Chinese President Xi Jinping's state visit to Japan, initially scheduled for April but put off due to the coronavirus pandemic, is said to be scuttled by Tokyo after loud protests within Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's ruling Liberal Democratic Party. Jinping's state visit would have been the first by the Chinese president since 2008. Tensions have been simmering between China and Japan for some time, but the latest provocation for LDP lawmakers to formally ask the government to reconsider Jinping's visit is China's imposition of the national security law over Hong Kong. Japanese lawmakers are deeply concerned about China's clampdown in Hong Kong. Japan fears the sweeping Chinese security law that came into effect this week would undermine the rights of Japanese people and companies in Hong Kong. Japan has accused China of exploiting the coronavirus pandemic to push its aggressive diplomacy and tighten its grip over Hong Kong, a global financial hub where Japan has significant interests. About 1,400 Japanese companies have a presence in Hong Kong, which is the world's largest importer of Japanese agricultural goods. The Japanese business community is concerned that the Chinese national security legislation would shake the foundation of Hong Kong. Japan has strongly criticized the move, saying it erodes Hong Kong's freedom and goes against the promise of allowing a high degree of autonomy in the former British colony for 50 years after its return to China in 1997. Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi issued a statement of regret over the legislation in which he urged China to respect the rights of Japanese people and companies operating in Hong Kong. At least 18 people were killed after being struck by lightning in Bihar. The fatalities were reported from the 5 districts, with Bhojpur and Saran accounting for the highest number of 4 deaths each, the Disaster Management Department said. The other affected districts are Kaimipur, Patna and Buxar. The incident came a day after 8 people were killed in lightning strikes in 5 districts of the state. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has announced a compensation of Rs 4 lakh to the families of each victim, an official release said. The Chief Minister also appealed to the people to remain alert and stay indoors as far as possible during the bad weather. More than 100 people have died due to the lightning strikes in the state in the last 1 week. Meanwhile, several weather experts have opined that a combination of above normal temperatures in the eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and moist southerly winds from the Bay of Bengal led to an instability in the atmosphere, resulting in large-scale incidents of lightning that killed over 150 people in these 2 states in the last fortnight. IMD Director General Mrutyunjay Mohapatra said the states were alerted about the impending weather pattern. Indiabulls Housing Finance Limited has raised 2,200 crore from the Oak Tree Capital by pledging a part of its real estate loans to the global stressed assets investors. 2 people directly aware of the transaction said, requesting anonymity. The transaction is expected to breathe a fresh lease of life into Indiabulls Housing, which has been in talks with investor for several months. The fresh funds are expected to be used to meet payment obligations. As part of the terms of the deal, Oaktree will buy non-convertible debentures to be sold by Indiabulls Housing. The NCDs will be guaranteed by an underlying real estate portfolio valued close to 4,500 crore, comprising loan exposures to developers such as Vadva Group and State Developers. A spokesperson for Indiabulls Housing did not respond to an email query. A spokesperson for Oaktree declined to comment. In a similar transaction last year, now bankrupt DHFL sold wholesale loans worth rupees 1,375 crore to Oaktree. Indiabulls Housing's outstanding loan book stood at 1.02 lakh crore as of December 31, 2019, with an average cost of borrowing at 8.8%, according to the public filing by the Housing Finance Company. The government has kept the maximum late fee for filing monthly returns at Rs 500 for the tax period between July 2017 and July 2020, provided taxpayers file the returns before September 30, 2020. A Finance Ministry statement said. The Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs has already notified that there will be no late fees if there is no tax liability, and if there is any tax liability, then a maximum late fee of Rs 500 per return would be applicable to such GSTR 3B returns filed up to September 30, 2020. Jigar Doshi from TMSL said with this, the late fee has been waived completely for returns with no liability and capped at Rs 500 for returns with liability. The only condition for availing this benefit is for returns to be filed by September 30, 2020. The initiative by CBIC has dual benefits from the government's perspective: to clear backlog of returns and to import some working capital relief to the taxpayers. Flights from Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Chennai and Ahmedabad will not land in Kolkata till July 19, authorities said on Saturday, as the West Bengal government stepped up efforts to contain the spread of the coronavirus. It is informed that no flights shall operate to Kolkata from Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Chennai and Ahmedabad from 6th to 19th July 2020 or till further order, whichever is earlier. Inconvenience caused is regretted, read a statement from the Kolkata airport. Earlier, the Mamata Banerjee-led government had written to the centre to stop sending trains from at least 5 coronavirus hotspot states, which have registered the highest number of COVID-19 cases in the country. It has also urged the centre to stop sending domestic flights from those 5 states. Flights from other states can be allowed once a week. Days after India banned 59 China-linked mobile phone applications on grounds of threats to the country's sovereignty, security, defense and public order, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday urged India's IT workforce to take part in an innovation challenge to code for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. This challenge is for you if you have such a working product or if you feel you have the vision and expertise to create such products. I urge all my friends in the tech community to participate, Modi wrote in a LinkedIn post on Saturday titled "Let us code for an Atmanirbhar Bharat." The Prime Minister laid out his vision for products to tap the huge potential of India's markets. We all know the huge potential of our market and the scale products can achieve if they can satisfy the demands. Nowadays, we are seeing huge interest and enthusiasm among the startup and tech ecosystem to innovate, develop and promote homegrown apps. Today, when the entire nation is working towards creating an Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is a good opportunity to give direction to their efforts, momentum to their hard work and mentorship to their talent to evolve applications which can satisfy our market as well as compete with the world. He said that in order to help India's startup and tech community achieve this objective, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology along with the Atal Innovation Mission are coming up with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Innovation Challenge, which will run in 2 tracks: promotion of existing apps and development of new applications. That's all for now. Keep watching news. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be Be safe.